This is Tina Drago with Healthy Las Vegas. We're here at the Beasley Broadcast Studio A. Today I have with me Mike Dimingo with the Center. It's the Gay, Lesbian, Transgender, Bi Questioning Center on Maryland Parkway and Charleston. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Tina.
Tell me how you got the idea for putting this phenomenal building with so many resources in the middle of downtown Las Vegas.
Well, actually, I'd love to take the credit for it, but it was really done by predecessor leadership who several years ago decided that it was time to upgrade its facilities. For many, many years, the center's 21 years old in terms of its service to the community. And for many, many years, it was in a small 600-foot facility on the commercial strip on Sahara.
I remember that place.
You do remember
I
it?
do remember it, yes.
So, and it's notorious, I guess, in terms of its reputation. But around 2010, the board of directors decided to make a bold move, and the bold move was that it was going to upgrade its facilities. It started a capital campaign, raised $4.5 million, and we have the result of a brand new facility at 401 South Maryland Parkway.
And, you know, it really kind of took you guys from the shadows to the front light.
You know, that's very, very true. Several things. I think people experience a sense of pride. We had a visitor recently who came from Utah, and he was LGBT, and he walked in and he said, oh my, he said, this really affirms who I am and the community I belong to just by walking in the building. So the building has that kind of impact on individuals, Tina.
And by the way, you don't have to be LGBT to enjoy the building. There's so many wonderful resources there.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, in recent polling that we did in surveying, about 25% of the folks that come to the center are straight.
So tell me exactly what the center does and who the center is.
Well, first and foremost, our mission is to support and advocate for the LGBTQ community. So we're talking the lesbian, the gay, the bisexual, the transgender, and the queer communities. Some people say the questioning communities. You know, that's all part of our nomenclature. We're here to advocate for their well-being. We're here to advocate for their health and well-being, as well as to advocate for allies of our community. And we also serve the low to moderate income individuals of Southern Nevada. So it's quite an expansive mission, a mission
statement. Very much so.
But our sole, or our I would say our primary focus is to serve the LGBTQ community. And so we have a wide array of programs at the center, many of them self-help programs, many of them peer-to-peer programs. We host 137 community groups at the center, so you can kind of get a sense of the array. So people are coming there for yoga, people are coming there for Alcoholics Anonymous, people are coming there for Gamblers Anonymous. We have a gay men's forum, we have the L group for lesbian women. Mm-hmm. Those are just some of the peer-run programs, and then we also have programs for youth, for young adults, for seniors, for transgender individuals, and also we have quite a hefty and mature information and referral services program for people who come in and inquire about where they can get resources.
I have to say, when I was there the very first time, and this was a few years back, the programs you had for the youth, the after-school programs, it was like a safety net. It was a place for any child who felt bullied, any child who was questioning who they are. And come on, face it, people, we've all been teenagers. We all went through some point where we felt insecure. We felt like nobody understood us. It didn't matter. And then now compound on that where you think possibly you're gay or you're transgender and you don't know who to ask or how to talk about it. And this was like a huge safe, like it was a big arms wrapping around these kids that were in junior high and high school that were there just trying to figure it out. And I was so impressed with that.
Yeah, it is impressive. It is, and to me, I'm still edified, every day when I see what's being done there. A very interesting statistic, Tina. About 5 years ago, nationally speaking now, the average age for a young person to come out was age 16. I look at that and I look at my life. I came out in my 40s, and suffered through, years of just being closeted, which can be harmful. It is in effect harmful. But the average age of coming out was age 16. Today, 5 years later, the average age of coming out is age 13.
And that's huge.
It's huge.
Because you knew. When did you know, Mike? When did you just inside know?
I knew when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, and this is going to slide even further down. Kids are going to know more.
Right, exactly. So, I'm just as impressed as you are when you say that you can walk into the center. You can walk into the youth drop-in center. It is a safety net. It's very, very secure. It's meant to be a place of safety. And it's a place of anonymity. We have young people, for instance, who fear being rejected by their families. So they'll tell their families, I'm out at tennis practice, and they're here at our drop-in center seeking resources and seeking ways to kind of figure things out. We have that all the way to the extreme of where we have parents dropping their children off.
And that's how it should be. I'm sorry, I'm going to be the parent advocate here. And I'm going to say I would absolutely be mortified if my children didn't feel they could come to me with the absolute truth, because whatever you think personally, they're your children.
And I mean, and I understand that and I affirm that, but I'm also, I pass no judgments, because every day we get phone calls from parents who say, what do I do? My child just came out.
And I don't know. And I don't have the resources.
Exactly. So they come to us for those resources, and we're grateful that they do. So we're there as a caring and compassionate and a resourceful community. We pass no judgment. We take people exactly where they're at and try to move them forward and invite them to see, a broader community.
One of my board members' son is 16, and he came out recently. Well, it was so funny because he told me he was in the marching band. And then he tried out for color guard, and his dad comes to me, and he's this big hulking Marine guy, and he comes to me and he goes, yeah, he tried out for color guard. And I said, that's great. Did he make it? And he said, yeah, he made it. And then he goes, he's gay. And I said, when you told me he tried out for color guard, we knew he was. I'm like, what's the big deal? He goes, there isn't none. He goes, I'm just so happy he's talking to me about it. Yeah. So, and I actually referred him. I said, go over there, check it out. He'll probably find a lot of resources and some commonality out there.
Yeah, exactly. He'll find community. The thing that we hear over and over, Tina, and I make, again, I'm honored when I hear this. People say, we just find this place to be a home.
Yeah.
And home is meant to be a place of acceptance. It's meant to be a place of service where people can feel comfortable to be who they are and grow to be who they are. And so that's really an honor to hear that each and every day.
Well, I like to think of community centers such as your own, kind of like a non-denominational church. We all kind of affiliate with something like that, where we know we can go with common, like-minded people, and they should look at this community center as the temple for for the community, because there are phenomenal resources. I mean, you have computer libraries, right?
Right.
And you have libraries.
Right.
And you have a great deli, a little cafe restaurant there that, you could stop in and just order lunch.
Right. Right. And we have people that do that every day. I mean, people come out of the offices in downtown to go to the Bronze Cafe, but the Cyber Center, we host 8 computers for the public. Those seats are occupied every day, which is absolutely wonderful. And numerous programs, including health-related programs.
So let's talk about that. This is Healthy Las Vegas. So let's talk about the health program that you have. You do have a clinic associated with your center, don't you?
We do. On the east side of the building, we have a separate entrance, and it's purposeful. I'll tell you the reason for that. We do a lot of anonymous and confidential testing. We're one of the largest testing centers for the Southern Nevada Health District. And so we believe that the center is making its contribution to community health and well-being by providing that space. And so we're partnered with them, and they test for HIV/AIDS as well as for syphilis. And we test numerous individuals into the thousands. So what happens is people will come to the east side of the building. It's a whole separate entrance. They'll walk into what looks like a doctor's waiting room. There will be a receptionist, and they'll be ushered into an examination room where they simply get tested. We have 8 different examination rooms. It's very much like a doctor's office, a clinic, and we keep that very, very separate because we honor the confidentiality and the anonymity of our clients there.
Is there any stigma with people going in that side entrance?
I sometimes wonder about that. I sometimes hear stories, for instance, of people who want to come to the center, and for weeks they've driven around the block because of that stigma, and they've got to work through all of that. So I wonder about that. But, Tina, given the thousands of people that come for testing, that are there, I'd like to think that we've broken through some of that, and people, we say for AIDS prevention that the best way of preventing AIDS is to know your status.
Right.
And so we constantly get that message out. We're constantly promoting people to come and get tested, and we're grateful because the place is packed.
So now I'm going to give you a healthy Las Vegas public service announcement. So, people out there, we all were young. We all were middle-aged, and we're all getting old. But when the heart wants what the heart wants, and sometimes you don't always make the best decisions, know that as an afterthought, you can always go into the center and make sure. Don't deny, don't pretend, don't act like something crazy didn't happen. You want to know how to take care of yourself. And there are drugs and there are immunizations and there are things out there for you. So please, if you feel you've put yourself at risk, come in to the center, to the clinic there at the center, and get yourself tested.
Absolutely.
Give us the location.
The location is 401 South Maryland Parkway. And so we're about, I'm going to say a third of a mile north of Charleston.
Yeah.
On South Maryland Parkway.
It's actually, if you turn on, if you go north on Maryland Parkway from Charleston, and you'll see it's right in the middle of the road. The road forks.
Right.
Yeah.
The road forks, and it's right there on that island.
So go in and get yourself tested. It's anonymous, and you don't have to worry about running into your grandma there. And but it's important. It is. And especially
Absolutely.
if you have a partner. If you have a partner who's HIV positive and you're not, then stay vigilant.
Yeah. Exactly. And just to add to that, we do quite a bit of work of reaching out into the community. Where we're seeing a higher incidence of HIV infection is in both the Latino and the African American communities. And so there is a determined kind of effort to reach out to those communities. Those communities, they have stigma that some of those folks need to overcome, and so
that machismo and on the down low, and it's very important to
exactly
get yourself checked out.
Exactly, and so not only are we inviting people to come, but we try to reach out to those communities and make every effort to get people tested.
Now, understand that if you're tested and you need to follow up with drugs, and I cannot remember the name of the drug for HIV partners that are not HIV positive. There's a drug.
PrEP.
PrEP is it?
Yeah. Well,
it'll keep you safer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's safer.
And there are new technologies and new drugs. It is called PrEP. Now the protocols are that if you're HIV infected, you want to get connected to care right away, and that's the great thing about the center. If you're found out to be HIV positive, they connect you to care so that they bring down those viral loads. Now you hear people in the community who are infected talk about being undetectable, and it's because those viral loads have been brought down to a manageable level, and it's all through drug therapy. Partners of those individuals are put on also a regime called PrEP, in which it really negates their I should say
exposure.
Minimizes their exposure to the HIV virus.
And so at First Person, we're only a half mile from you.
Yes.
So at First Person Complete Care, our clinic's about a half mile from the center. And if you find that there's something that you actually have contacted, then please, you can always come over to the clinic and we will help put you on a regime. We will work with the Southern Nevada Health District. We're very closely partnered with them. And we'll make sure that you get all your primary care as well as your regime, and we'll stay in contact with them. So it's one thing to know, and it's another thing to know where you can find the resources after the fact to make sure that you don't fall through the net, and that you actually can be taken care of and lead a long, healthy life.
Absolutely, Tina. And HIV, AIDS, and infection has a stigma of itself. This is a 30-year epidemic, and we've made huge gains, all throughout in terms of a disease that was a death sentence to many people,
yes.
And now where it becomes a manageable chronic illness. My point being that sometimes when you do get that positive identification or that positive test, people fall apart. And it's great that you talk about the clinic, where make that extra step and get connected to care and start taking care of yourself in many, many ways. You're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of others as well as the community. And
being a downtown clinic, our population is completely diverse, and the center's community is part of our population there. And we love it because, besides just having uplifting people in there and people that are grateful to know that there's resources available, quality resources. Don't go to some back alley place. Don't go on the down low. Go to a place that's going to offer you the highest quality care that you deserve.
Absolutely. And I'm grateful that the clinic is so close to us. I mean, we're hoping to partner even more closely.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, I think it would be great.
I think we just take all those baby steps forward. And it is. And because we're actually integrating with the Southern Nevada Health District in North Las Vegas, I think the center is just a progressive step to make sure that we're all just one big happy family, bringing a whole hub of resources to the downtown community. Yeah. And it is important. I hope people are aware of the resources that are available to them through phenomenal.
First Person. It is phenomenal. And there are a lot of health resources in this community. So people should not feel isolated. They just need to reach out and find out where and then make the effort to be there.
So what do you think the next step for the center is going to be? I mean, besides this gorgeous building with all these resources, really being a beacon in the community for hope and opportunities. And where are you going next? You got plans?
Well, you might have heard that last month there was a Supreme Court decision.
I vaguely heard something about that.
That was absolutely marvelous, Tina.
About time.
Yeah. I mean, from our perspective, it's about time. But there's also others who feel a little chagrined by all of that. And I see that Supreme Court decision really was an affirmation of our community, an affirmation of who we are, allowing us to love the people that we love and marry the people that we love. I see the other side. I mean, I see the other side where people feel infringed upon. I look at that decision as a great reign.
What does somebody else's household have to do with anybody out there who feels infringed upon? Now I'm going to go mama bear on them, right?
Okay.
Because, I mean, the truth of the matter is mind your own damn business. Yeah. You make sure that you're cleaned up in front of your house. You make sure that your home is a safe, loving environment for your family, that you're cultivating growth and building pillars of the community with your children before you go out and start worrying about somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that, and you are going mama bear.
I'm sorry, but it just irks me.
but I could see where some people feel threatened, because we're now redefining marriage to include same-sex individuals versus, a husband and wife versus opposite sex. And so there's people who are just rooted into that biblical tradition and such. So I can understand that. And like I was saying, I see this moment as a time of great rain. And we need to let this new consciousness kind of soak in, to all elements of society. And we need to be patient and tolerant. So when you ask where the community is going, we still need to look at every nook and cranny of discrimination that harms our community. And so we're looking at discrimination in employment and in workplaces, discrimination. There's still...
Now, I've been notified by the state that there's changes in that. The EEOC has changed discrimination. And you can't not hire somebody because he's a 6'2" guy in drag named Caitlin. Yeah. If they're qualified, you need to hire them.
That's right.
And I think that's a great step forward.
It is a great step forward. But we enjoy a lot of those protections in the state of Nevada because of some visionary legislators who address some of those issues. As you mentioned, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. We just don't rest on our laurels, but we're just grateful for the progress that's been made, and we're psyched and pumped up to keep moving.
I think that's wonderful. So I know for us at the clinic, this legislative change with marriage laws really didn't change us too much because a lot of the gay population had power of attorneys. Put in place. I mean, when they decided that they were going to be a couple, they weren't going to let a marriage certificate get in the way.
Right.
So we have a lot of joint power of attorney, medical power of attorneys, and so now this just makes it easier. It's one less piece of paperwork we have to find and get, but it doesn't change how we're treating or what we're doing with people, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
And have you found that has it given people more freedom?
Absolutely. I
have a couple. I have to tell you, I have a couple. I'm totally interrupting you. I have a couple who 4 years ago, and I love them, and I went to high school with one of them, and there was 2 young children that needed to be adopted, and they were Jewish, and Jewish Family Services wanted them to stay together, a brother and sister. And my husband looked at me and he goes, you want to do this? And I'm like, are you kidding? I see the daylight. My kids are almost out of the house. But this couple I knew, I was like, they were kind of talking about, and they were talking about getting married. They've been together 20 years. And I said, why don't you go for the adoption? And they were absolutely, and this was 3-4 years ago, and they were like, no, we're going to have a bullet on us. People aren't going to let us adopt because we're a gay couple and stuff like that. Well, not only did they adopt these 2 children, these children are thriving. They've actually become a real like symbol out there for a family, what a true family is.
Wow.
And they ended up getting married in our temple, and we had the kids involved, and everybody was involved. So it was our first gay marriage at the temple, but it was phenomenal. It was just the way it should be.
That is, exactly. And a real celebration. I mean, that's...
Yes.
And when you mentioned, when this decision came down, I can't begin to describe for you the affirmation that people feel. I mean, people, and shortly after this decision was the 4th of July, even people were saying to me a week later, I feel more patriotic. I feel more American.
Yeah.
And so it's that's what I mean by all this has to soak into our community in many ways. We need to kind of take that affirmation and use the very best of it and use it wisely and use it very responsibly to kind of advance our community and advance society. Bring the gifts that we have to our society.
Do you have any events coming up this summer?
We have. Yeah? Do we have events? We always
have. Do you
have
have a calendar that people should go to? Is it like an ongoing thing?
There is a calendar. You'll access all of our services at www.thecenterlv.org.
Say it again.
www.thecenterlv.org.
Excellent. And you can just hit on the calendar and find out everything?
And you'll find out what's going on the calendar. Some highlighted events. We do have a career fair that we offer quarterly. And so we invite companies who are LGBTQ friendly, who support LGBTQ in the workplace. They come and they share their needs, and it's wonderful because of the stigma of folks in our community. There are many that are unemployed, and so it's a way of getting a job. We'll have in August a resource fair coming up in which numerous vendors, folks who want to access our community and resource our community are coming together. It's kind of like a celebration, and again, people from mobile telephone services all the way down to healthcare and the like, and insurance and mortuary services. They all want to access our community, and so we're putting that all together in one major resource fair. We have in September. We have September 12th. We have a wonderful fundraiser coming up, Tina, called Picnic by Design. This is all being driven by the design community, the architectural community, and it's really kind of neat. They are putting together and donating picnic baskets. So you get to bid on and buy a boutique picnic basket.
I've always wanted one, like the kind that come with plates in them and the glasses.
and all matching and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, see, I'm not a matcher. That would be phenomenal. I'd be like, pull it out, and I'd be like, this is my picnic basket.
So the design community is putting together this whole array of picnic baskets. You'll be able to purchase that, and then we will feast you to dinner at Symphony Park. We're working in collaboration with the Smith Center. So that's on the evening of September 12th. Hopefully it'll be
Is there a show?
Cool
or no,
evening.
Is it outside?
And there's going to be entertainment. It'll be outside, yes.
Nice.
We may need tents or whatever, but we'll see how that goes. Also on the same night, on September 12th, we have a senior program at the center called Act 3. And so September 12th, the evening of September 12th, we're putting on a senior prom.
Oh, how sweet!
So, and it's all based on the Grease song "You're the One That I Want."
I do know that song. Boop boop boop, honey.
You're the one that I want. Yeah. So we're doing a flash mob with seniors around that song right now to kind of promote and advertise it. But we're asking seniors in the community to come out, bring a date.
Have you found that a lot of seniors in the community that were not comfortable having a date in high school didn't go to their prom? Right, exactly. Well, and especially if you were LGBTQ. Yeah.
I never went to my prom because I knew I was LGBTQ. That's changing. That's changing as people invite whoever they want to invite. And I learned, I just yesterday, I talked to a high school vice president, and he told me that people are going to prom in groups, so it's not as staid and as formal. But this is the opportunity for seniors to come out and dress up and go to prom, and it's going to be one of the events attached to the Pride Festival, which takes place in September here.
Excellent.
And then lastly, I would be shot if I didn't mention our huge fundraiser, which is called the Honorarium, on October 12th at Dre's Beach and Nightclub on
Well, that's
top
just
of the
a
Cromwell.
fun place to go, regardless.
It's a great place.
Now you have a reason to go there. And where can they get tickets for this?
They can get tickets online. Again, www.thecenterlv.org. They'll see, scrolling on our website, the honorarium, and people can get tickets online or simply call the center and we'll get tickets for you.
Great. I really appreciate you here today.
Thank you,
Mike
Tina.
Dimingo.
Thank you. With
the center at the LGBT in downtown Las Vegas on Maryland Parkway, just a little bit north of Charleston. This is Tina Drago with Healthy Las Vegas. Listen more. We're online. We're on YouTube. And I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Bye-bye.